It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, December 20th. Thank you guys so much for all your messages and emails and DMs and texts and like nonstop comments about me not being on yesterday. It was one of the only times I've missed a show. I only miss a show under serious, experiences that I can't kind of travel around. So that was yesterday. Everything is okay. And it just means that today is going to be even better, which it will be because we have a very special guest, or should I say, two guests today. I've known them from TikTok. I've watched them on YouTube. I listened to their podcast. I met them in person at Zach Peters' Friendsgiving. You guys, we have Steele and Shooter from the Brav Bros today. Woo! Welcome, guys.
What's going
Thanks
on?
for having us.
This is really fun. I'm not used to talking to two guys at the same time.
Oh, buckle up. We're idiots. So enjoy.
This is awesome. I'm glad to have you guys. You popped up on my feed on TikTok a few months back, mostly because what you guys were talking about was, I can't remember which show you were talking about, but immediately when I watched it, I was like, these are my people. Now,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised just being, a straight woman married to a straight man who only watches these shows under bribery. And if I promise him certain things, if you know what I mean. What made you guys get into Bravo?
Yeah, you want to elaborate on that one?
So basically, I tie him up, and then I put on.
You met him too.
You guys tell me how you got into Bravo.
Shooter, you want to take it this time?
Yeah, I'll take it this time. Steele and I can do this in our sleep at this point. So Steele and I, both of us, with my significant other at the time and now his wife, we were both locked down during COVID.
Wait, your significant other is now his wife?
This is the second time that's happened too. No. His significant other, my wife.
Yeah, same thing. Throuple.
No, we're not a throuple. No. Don't even start. This is Bravo. People are going to take that and run with it. There's going to be a
sister wives shit.
It's fun. We're going to make a couple of headlines.
Nah, I'm good.
All right, fine.
Carry
anyway,
on, sir.
So separately, my significant other at the time and Steele with his now wife, we were locked down during COVID. And we found ourselves.
It still sounds
No, it
bad.
sounds fine. Will you shut up and let me talk? Jesus Christ, we're starting off today. Anyway, when we were locked down during COVID, we found ourselves just kind of watching Bravo because, you spend way more time with your other person that you're interested in their interests. And what Steele and I like to call, or rather what I like to call, as the angry dad sitting in the corner. So Jersey would be on. I'm not really thrilled that it's on, and there's people yelling at each other. And I would chime in now and again, just saying, what the hell are we watching? Like, why is this happening right now? And then a couple of weeks will pass, and then you're vested in all of their interests, and you know what's going on, and you have ideas about the storyline and opinions. And Steele was going through the exact same thing. Neither of us knew that at the time until we started hanging out when the restrictions were lifted. We were at parties. There's a whole group of guys hanging out. There's a whole group of girls upstairs talking about Bravo. We start talking about Bravo, and then we, of course, get hit with the cliche, you guys should start a podcast. You guys have some pretty good opinions. And Steele just called me the next day at like 8 a.m. Hey, I'm at Guitar Center. I'm just picking up a couple of mic stands. We're just going to give it a run. Just see what happens. And it worked, I guess.
So you guys have known each other for a long time then?
Yes. Since high school, yeah. It's been, 17 years at this point?
I like to say
More
almost 20 because it makes us real old.
Yeah, almost half of our life we've known each other. But yeah, I mean, when we were at the party, we walked by the group of girls talking about Bravo, and somebody said something. They had an opinion about whatever they were watching, and either Shooter or myself chimed in oh no, she stinks. They're like, oh, you watch Bravo? And we're like, well, actually, and it's no joke. The next day I woke up at probably 8:30, I guess. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go give this a run. I went to Guitar Center, and I'll never forget because it was the audio center, the audio video section.
Sure.
And it's a 19-year-old kid working. And I was like, hey, man, it's I'm starting a podcast. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he tried to sell me $800 worth of shit. I was like, no. I was like, I need bare minimum. I'm trying to spend $150 max. I think I walked out of there at $175 with 2 mic stands, 2 mics, this garbage little soundboard. And I used my wife's old laptop from 2006 to do our first 60 episodes. But when we did it, we didn't know I was going to be received. And after we made TikTok, it just kind of blew up. And here we are now.
So TikTok, honestly, like I was just at a meeting the other day with someone who wants to start a podcast, and they're like, "How did you grow?" And I'm like, TikTok. TikTok is such an insane way for podcasters to get seen. If you guys have a podcast out there and you're watching or listening and you're wondering like, how come I can't grow? Just start putting clips on TikTok. You guys you just film yourself talking, right? When you're recording your podcast. You go into one of your, you guys go to whose house? Whose house
It's
are we
my
at?
house. Yeah, I'm technically in the studio right now. So like in my back room, I've got a nice little space here. So we set it up to be more of like a studio so that I didn't have to. We were originally doing it in my living room, but then I had to
Okay.
like kick my wife out and we'd have to set it up and break the whole thing down. So now it's like a cozy little studio nook back here. We got a wood fire stove in my back room. So like that's been going during the winter. It's a vibe.
Very
It's a whole vibe.
cozy.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got to call
get
it
cozy.
something.
The Brosy Cove.
Oh God, I knew you can't put him on the spot like that. He either has something ready to go and he'll tell you what it is, or it'll be something like that.
No,
Brosy
that's
Cove?
good. The Brosy Cove.
The
Cove.
Brosy
It's like a
Cove. We got to think
I
of
don't know.
something.
That sounds sexual.
The Brav Bros
The
break room.
Brav
We'll figure it out.
Brotel.
Brav Brotel.
Brotel.
I mean,
I like
that's
that
next
one.
for you guys. That's next on the docket. You guys are going to create a hotel. And it's
No,
going
we
to
got
be
enough
called the
going
Brav
on.
Brotel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna mirror the Trixie Hotel, and
And then-
you know that's how we're gonna do it.
It's going to be hot pink for sure. And then every single Bro Cove. Mark says Bro Cove. And then every
That's what I
single
said.
well, you said
Didn't I?
Brav
I said
Bro
You said like
Cove.
the bro. You said the Brosy Cove.
You said
or some
Brosy
shit. Yeah, I
Cove.
don't know what you were doing.
Who said
But I
that?
think
Oh, the comments. I always forget. I'm in private chat.
I love watching the
Mark
comments.
Ford. Okay. Mark, yeah, he's legit. He's one of our guys too. Yeah, you're right,
He's
Mark. I'll
legit.
take that.
Mark, you're
Yeah.
legit.
You know Mark.
Yeah, you guys we have a lot of crossover in terms of our audience members, like, and our listeners. A lot of them have been like, you gotta connect with the Brav Bros. You gotta get them on your show. You gotta get on their show. So it's kind of nice. I always find this interesting because there's something about Bravo podcast creators or just like pop culture reality TV content creators. I feel like we're all in each other's corner. Like, you know, Zach and I are always collaborating. We're doing a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills rewatch right now for Patreon. You guys remember Lauren, who was on the panel with us at Zach's event? I recorded her show yesterday. There's just like it's a little incestuous.
Well,
That's a great comment.
Hunter and Olive. Who is that?
I don't know. Let's see. So are you guys douchebags? You're so rude.
I didn't know that.
I'll tell you something. Every single time I have an opinion, someone calls me out for being a bully, a mean girl. I mean, that's part of what this is, though. We have to talk about our feelings.
It's so fun. We do a segment on our show called Rose and Thorn every week, and we pick our favorite comment of the week and our least favorite comment of the week, and we read it like live. So congratulations, Hunter and Olive. You are my rose for the next month. That is a great comment. And I don't know if you listen to us enough because I don't think we're douchebags. We're a lot of things, but douchebags, I don't know. Maybe
not that one.
Yeah, maybe.
I will say, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, that if someone has a favorite housewife, just say someone is team Lisa Barlow, and you guys go, I don't really know who you love and who you hate. We're going to go through it. But if you guys come on your show and you start talking about how much you don't like Lisa Barlow in this episode, people take it seriously personally. Like, people come out and they'll comment and be like, how dare you? How dare you say that? Like, you are a horrible person. But that's what this show is. It's meant for us to judge the crap out of these people. No?
Agreed. Yeah. And like, my thing with it is like, you can differ in opinion, but you don't have to. I know you just read the
I was just laughing at that one.
It's so good. Let me just do this so we can move on from Hunter and Olive.
Yeah.
There was wildfires in Canada, which is not a joke. It's not funny. We didn't really make fun of it. But there was a lot of wind and it blew all the smoke from Canada all the way down to PA.
Yeah.
So in Philly, we had like a 3-day period where it was not even safe to really go outside because the smoke was so bad. And we filmed an episode during it. And Shooter said something like, "Oh, thanks a lot, Canada." That was it.
So it's Shooter's fault.
I may have sung the Blame Canada song from South Park too. On top of that, it was
that's true.
Yeah, that was about it though. It wasn't, we didn't get any further.
You guys,
we didn't mean it.
I'm not allowed to even smile because then I'm going to be called rude.
No, you don't want to be associated with us.
We're going to drag you down with us.
Yeah, we're already on your show, but you don't want to be associated. But it is funny, like you said, when it goes with people defending housewives, Steele and I talk about it all the time. We don't really like, we kind of hate the question of who's your favorite housewife because every other week we change it up because we watch these shows in real time. And based on what happens, I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody kind of has different behaviors. They do something that pisses us off. We're not going to just stand behind someone blindly and say, well, you know, that was just an issue, but you know, she got over it. It's like, no, she was an asshole during that episode. We're going to call them out. It's so much easier to do this when you're not picking favorites because you can get stuck behind one person for years and then everybody's going to point to you as the apologist, as the number one stan, and then that's kind of your identity. We don't want that. We want to be known as people who we watch it in real time and we are completely unbiased and we'll call everybody out regardless if they're on our show or not.
I love that so much. I think there's a weird like connection that a lot of these podcasters have where they want to be kind of on the good graces of these reality stars. They want to maybe get them as guests. So they don't want to offend them too much. So they try to keep everything kind of PC, but that's boring. Let's be honest. You have to watch these shows with almost a like, and you know, Tamara's a perfect example. Tamara is horrible on Real House. I mean, she's not a horrible housewife, but she acts horribly on Real Housewives of OC. But I love Tamara as a person. We've met multiple times. We've DM'd. We're like, I like her. I really like her. But I'm not scared to say like she was an asshole on that season.
She was
of OC.
terrible that season, by the way. She was
sucks.
not a good housewife. And if she listens to you, great. I don't like Tamara. I think that the shtick is old. I think that
You're such a douchebag.
I know, right? But she came into this season like with a target on her back, I guess, or seemingly thought she had one. So she's like, I'm going to bring it 10,000%. And it wasn't calculated. It wasn't clean. It was clumsy. And she fumbled over it all season. She said one thing and then she immediately said the exact opposite. Like she has no ground to stand on. And the thing that drives me crazy with her and Teddy is like when they say things, they have a podcast with a massive platform. They have so many listeners, but they'll say whatever they want. And then they'll backtrack later. Like, oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. It's like, that's dangerous. You can't just be out here saying whatever you want with no ramifications. And she does it on the show. She'll take two different sides and then she'll spin it when somebody catches her in a lie. She's like, well, I didn't say that. And she just gets loud. Like, that's not good housewifing to me. That's not a good approach to the show. Like, I want to see, I don't mind if somebody takes that role of the villain or takes the role of somebody trying to stir the pot. Great. Don't be sloppy with it. Like, come in ready to go. And instead, she kept throwing shit at the wall, hoping it would stick. She gets caught at the end of the season and all those lies, and it just blows up. And it's not fun.
Yeah, that's why I think Tamara got kind of under this guise of like trying too hard or producing herself too much. And whenever you see a housewife come in with like a goal, a motive, I'm going to do this. My motive is to get this person fired or make this person look awful. It does feel sloppy. I'd much rather just like organic drama, like what's happening on Salt Lake City. I feel like it's just like organic drama that's coming out. I mean, there is a little bit of intentional shit going on. There's no question, Meredith. Hello. But everyone else, I feel like, is just organic. Like the fact that Heather is going to find out next week and we'll get into Salt Lake. That was not planned. Like that's crazy good drama to watch on TV. Giselle is also someone that a lot of people feel overproduces. Do you guys feel that she does on Potomac right now?
Oh my God, yeah. Like that's been her MO forever. And we never get anything. This is our biggest gripe with her. I feel like you're allowed a little bit of freedom to do those, you know, conniving things that you're going to be doing behind people's backs if you have a storyline of your own. Giselle never produces anything personal. She never brings us into her life. She's never the middle of something going on. She always inserts herself and then tries to make it much bigger than it actually is. And she does it all the time. And she does it by lying. She does it by talking shit behind people's backs. She has this such a clear MO to the audience that it gets so tired. Like we get so tired of watching. And that's why we love the shows that are on right now with Salt Lake, with, you know, Southern Charm, with everything else. Anything that's organic, Steele and I will sit there and say, this is awesome. Because one, you don't know what's going to happen next. Two, everybody's involved, whether they like it or not. And they're just emotionally manipulated. Like whatever they're doing is going on. But when you get to see somebody like Giselle or somebody like Tamara with that clear motive when they come into a season, you just get so tired of it because it's overproduced, it's not organic, and it's not fun to watch.
Yeah. Who else would you say is like, what would you say is the difference then between a Giselle and a Karen? And I am a Grand Dame lover. I love that Karen Huger so much. I peed with her in BravoCon. Like I'll never forget that at the Four Seasons, not in the same toilet. We didn't cross streams, but we were in the same bathroom at the same time. And I spoke to her and I took a picture and I just love her. But like she also is a little bit of a stirrer. She likes to kind of bring up the drama. In fact, she keeps the story moving way better than so many other housewives. But what would you say is the difference then between her and a Giselle?
I think the difference between Karen and Giselle is what Karen does is bring up current events that she has heard about amongst the group. It's not random and out of nowhere. It's stuff that we have heard of in the media. It's stuff that we've seen on this show. Giselle will bring up things that have not happened that she fabricates, such as the Chris Bassett, that whole disaster last season. She'll make things up out of nowhere, whereas Karen, 9 times out of 10, even if it's something that we're just hearing from the first time from her, as we watch the season progress, it eventually comes out that she has something behind it. It's not just random. With that whole funny drawing last year of like the Karen lookalike that Juan was apparently trouncing about town with, fast forward and you see the girl he's actually with. Does she look like Karen? No. Does she have blonde-ish hair kind of? And like, is there ways you could see like, all right, I mean, you could stretch it and say like, maybe that's Karen or maybe it's somewhat similar. Sure. So that's different. And also she's saying that Juan's going about town with somebody. He was. We have video evidence, we have photo evidence. So that's the difference. Whereas Giselle's saying Chris did this, Chris did that. And then he's checking people out at the bar, smacking people on the ass. And we have video footage of Chris looking at his phone while the alleged whatever was going on. And
Sesame
Deborah's
Street
next
character.
to him. Yeah. Deborah's next to him and he's not even looking at her. And yet she's saying that he was flirting with her. It's just the difference is when you make up lies. And that's the funny thing about Bravo in general. And what I don't understand about the people on TV is one, there's a camera. We see everything that's happening. We will see what you're doing and planning and whether it's true or not. And two, you can never, ever count out the Bravo sleuths of the world. Like the people that watch these shows will dig up any dirt you have. If there is skeletons in your closet, the fans of these shows will find it.
Yeah.
We'll get to the bottom of it because they're very freakishly good at it. So
Yeah.
all of these claims that Giselle makes, it's like, all right, well, if they're all unfounded, it makes you look dumb and it's bad and it's dangerous for people's lives. When you start messing around, I guess the biggest difference is with Karen, she's trying to get to the bottom of it amongst the group. Okay. With Giselle, she's trying to create a storyline and she doesn't care about the fallout. She messed with Chris and Candace's marriage and life last year. Like, that's insane. That could have ruined them. It could have ruined careers. That's not fun. I don't
Yeah.
want to watch that.
Yeah.
Karen wouldn't take it that far. That's the difference. She will stir the pot to continue the drama amongst the group. She's not out for blood. She's not trying to ruin a life, whereas Giselle could give a shit as long as it's good TV.
I would argue more so that Karen, it seems like she comes from a place of caring about the people that she's talking about. And Steele and I talked about this last week. When Karen is, you want to call it inciting drama, you want to call it stirring things up, sure. But she always seems to be coming from a place of maybe she cares about that person, or at the very least, she cares about her association with that person. So if they're being messy and she wants to bring something up, like Juan walking around with another woman in Georgetown, she's doing it because she's associated with Robin. She doesn't want to be associated with Juan and Robin and their fiasco that's going on right now. She wants to get to the bottom of it. Why is your friend Robin not married yet? Karen's going to ask her every single time that she gets the chance. So I think that's really what it comes down to. Giselle doesn't really give a shit about any of them. She just wants to make a name for herself in the show, and she's overproducing for herself because she feels like that's her role. And whether or not, people have responded to that in the past, and that's why she thinks that it is the way that it is now, and she just keeps trudging forward. I don't know what happened. I don't know what clicked for her, but it's getting really tiresome to watch because we call it out every single week. This show right now, compared to the rest of the shows on there, it just sucks because we know what they're doing, and none of these women are friends at the end of the day. They don't hang out off screen.
So you guys agree that Potomac is like not doing so hot right now.
No.
It's not feeling good.
It's my favorite franchise. It's like what I got started in the Housewives with, because my wife loves Potomac, so we dove into that one like early on. And to watch where it's gone, it sucks. And like, I've listened to other podcasts talk about it, watch what Crappen's talked about it, multiple other people have talked about it. It's like, you cannot have a show and expect us to want to watch it if none of the women want to hang out with each other. I get that there can be feuds amongst the group, amongst one or two of them. But if you break down the relationships, if we had a flow chart, Shooter and I always talk about, we need flow charts to like make this easier to kind of file through everything. But if you look at who's talking to who, 3 or 4 of the women aren't talking to 3 or 4 of the other women. There's
Totally.
nothing there for a show. That sucks. And what happened, we talked about it last night in our episode, but what happened was last year, for whatever reason, Bravo took it upon themselves. I don't know if it was using Scandival as a framework or a blueprint. They went down this dark, dark path where all the storylines got really, really serious and way too far, in my opinion. Like the Chris and Candace thing was fucking nuts. And there's other examples I can't think of right now, which is a shame. But because of that, and because of how they pushed it on Potomac, oh, we're going to get like really serious. And this is like life altering stuff. It's so captivating. Instead, what you ended up doing was creating rifts amongst the group that cannot be repaired.
Yeah.
Like Candace should never talk to Giselle again, ever.
I would never.
You know what I mean? Like none of us would talk to that person, and understandably so. That's not something.
And now
you
we're
rectify.
sitting at like the same table at a chicken bar
That's what I
in,
mean.
you know, Austin.
Right.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you had to hang out with, like, if you had to, you know, go on a girls' trip, I realize I'm talking to two guys.
It's okay.
If you had to go on a girls' trip with like two of the Potomac girls, who are the girls? Who are you having the most fun with? Who do you think are like the most legit, like the most just dynamic, fun?
Definitely
I know
Karen.
I'm obsessed with Candace and Karen. Candace and Karen are mine.
Yeah, Candace and Karen are a
Probably.
good one. I'm going to go a little off the beaten path just because I've done a complete 180 on this one. I'm going to add Mia in there because I feel like Mia would be a lot of fun by herself, and you get her away from G, you get her away from all the other women and all the drama. I think she
you
could be a
guys are
really good
Mia
time.
fans?
No,
Whoa.
whoa. No,
I'm
we ripped
pushing
her
myself
apart.
away.
Here's the thing. Last year, Mia was the worst character on this show. She absolutely sucked, and she tried too hard. She was trying to be iconic. This year, it seems like whatever the hell her and G are going through with the business and all the lawsuits and downsizing in their house that they used to rent for $60,000 and pump in more renovation money, which still makes no sense. She has now taken a step back, and it seems like she's trying to readdress her role on the show, which could be, hey, I'm just going to bop around from group to group because nobody really likes me that much, but they can put up with me. And as long as I don't do dumb shit, I'll be able to be friends with these people, and I can still have a place on the show, which I will always be aware of, and I'll always give them their flowers when they do that because they're not trying too hard. So I'm going to throw Mia out there because she could be fun by herself. Obviously, Candace, I would love to have her there, but Candace doesn't get along with anybody on the show except for Karen, so it's tough to say that. And I don't want any fighting on my trip. So I'm going to throw in Mia and I guess I would probably
Don't
have
say Nieka.
No, NECA would be a cop out because we don't know enough about her.
No, it's not NECA. It's Nieka.
That's how you say it?
Is that how you say it?
Nieka. Try it.
I thought it was NECA.
There's no Y.
I personally think it's
Okay.
Nieka.
I don't think it is at all.
No.
But anyway.
That's not, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I personally, I think there's some really fun standout people. I think the cast is really too big. I think there's like the
Yeah,
Wendy and the
definitely.
Nieka stuff. Like I can't stop saying Nieka. Just like I also call Shannon from OC Shannon because of Gina. Like Gina Kirschenheiter or whatever kind of ruined Shannon's name for me because she was like Shannon.
The New York accent.
That's all I can do.
Also, just based off of you saying what Gina's last name is, I'm starting to realize that you're just not that great at names, Donna.
What's her last name? What is it?
Now it's Kirschenheiter.
It's Kirschenheimer is what you just said.
I said Kirschenheiter.
I thought it was Gina Kirschneider.
Honestly, there should be some sort of like, you know how you have like Google like pronounce or whatever, like we should be for all the Real Housewives names, last names, because I do get a lot of hate for not knowing Martina's last name perfectly on
Navratilova.
Say it again.
Navratilova.
Navratilova.
Yeah.
There you go.
Navratilova.
Massive tennis star. Absolute
I do know her, and I do know her as a tennis star, but just because I didn't follow tennis, like I don't know her last name perfectly. And one time I said it, and wow, you wouldn't believe the comment I got. You are the dumbest blonde there is. Navratilova. Let's move on really quickly to your thoughts on Miami right now without getting like detailed. Are you loving it? Are you feeling good about it? Where are we feeling?
I'm really enjoying it. We jumped into Miami last year for the first time, and obviously they had that like 5-year hiatus, so it was a good time to get back into it. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a great show. I love the cast of characters. I like that they continue to surprise me. Seeing Marisol be self-aware last week was insane to me. Where
Shocking.
Alexia was
Shocking.
right. Alexia checked her a little bit and she took it in stride. I was like, oh my God, she apologized to Adriana. I never saw that coming in a million years. So that's fun to watch. The dynamics are changing. The love story between Martina and Julia is a fucking Hallmark movie. Every time they
Aw.
do things for each, it's so beautiful, honestly. And
But let
like,
me ask you a
go ahead.
question about that, because I've always thought up until this last episode when Julia did finally sing the opera, and then they like had such a moment after that, and Martina said like no one's ever done anything like that for me. I was always kind of questioning how
See,
committed Julia was. I knew Martina was, but I always because Julia I felt like was looking for distraction left and right.
I think that it comes back to, and you look at last year and the journey that they've been on in the past couple of years. I think a big part of that was the empty nest syndrome. I think that she found identity in her children, and that was what kept the children in the farm, right? So when the children leave the nest, and now she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? They didn't strike me as two people that hung out frequently. I think they had both of their own lives and did their own thing, but they're also married. And I think that with the empty nest thing, she had to readjust her life and what she wanted it to look like moving forward. And I think that credit where credit's due, you see her make an effort. Last year with the dinner by the dock was really nice. And then this year you have the song, and it does seem like they're in a really good place. And I think also with, her battling two different forms of cancer and those two getting through it together, I think that'll bring you closer as well. I think that a lot of the distractions or her not being fully invested, I don't think it was lack of investment in the marriage or in the relationship. I think it was shifting her life from being a mother with kids living in the house, having her activities with the farm and having a full schedule that way. And now she needs to figure out how to do that with Martina, and they haven't had that before. Martina wants to travel. She wants to be together a lot, and they want to go do things. Julia's a homebody. She wants to stay at home, go work on the farm. So they've reached a point now where they seem to understand each other better. And I think watching that growth over the past 2 years is where I've been like, wow, this is actually a beautiful story where you see two people that weren't that connected. I agree with you there, but they have connected over these past 2 years. And whether that be the cancer diagnosis and them getting closer that way, or the dinners, or just Julia kind of realizing like, this is my wife. Like, we need to learn how to live together and be together now that the kids are gone. That's the vibe I get. And I think that, again, like credit where credit's due always. That's what we try to always, even if we hate somebody, and we love Julia and Martina, but even when we don't like somebody, we always try to give credit when there's a positive scene and like growth being made. And I think that we've seen that.
It could also be as simple as just Julia looking at her friend Adriana, who is very lonely and talks about how lonely she is all the time. And Julia looking at Adriana saying, you know what? I don't want that. So that is something I'm going to try to actively avoid. I do not want to end up like Adriana. So I'm going to go back to Martina.
Adriana, you guys, I struggle with Adriana. I've struggled with her.
Get off the show.
Like, there's something about her. And I don't want to be like rude, and it's not about her accent. It's about something about her voice, like really drains me. It's very like screechy or something. The ketamine therapy scene, like it's all a lot with Adriana. I'm not a fan. And also, by the way, you talk about flatulence in a car. You talk about the fact that you ate corn and now you're going to fart up a storm in a Sprinter.
And they get mad when people get mad at it. Like, you can't announce a fart and then be not cool when people are not cool with it. If Shooter got in a bus and was like, I'm a little flatulent today, I'd be like, get the fuck off. Like, go away.
I would literally, you guys, I almost like leave my kids on the side of the street if they fart in my car. Like, it's not about love or anything. It's about the fact that it's gross. Like, bad smells are like it's like horrible. Like, why would you ever? You're on TV, girl. Like, you're on TV.
Yeah, and they're not talking smack in the bathroom. They're saying that's pretty gross that she's in there just letting it rip. Don't you agree? Like,
and also they know she's in the bathroom. Like, there's no way that the other two didn't have any idea that Adriana was in the bathroom.
They weren't.
She's farting up a storm. Of course she's in the bathroom. They don't care because they realize that it's okay to talk about this. But with her and the ketamine scene, Steele and I talked about this. That is something that, one, we were very uncomfortable watching, because that's something that we shouldn't be a part of as the audience. There should be fine lines out there. I don't want to be part of that. However, Adriana 1,000% wanted that to be a part of the show, because she wants the audience to be able to connect with her, which I understand and I respect it on some level. But again, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make us feel bad for you with all of this lonely crap, with all of the ketamine thing. Like, it's not working because I'm tired of you and you're really annoying. And every chance that you get to make peace, you refuse to do it. If Marisol looked at her during that dinner and said, which she did, hey, both of us have done this. We've been butting heads. Neither one of us is correct. Maybe we can put it aside. If Adriana loses that, she's got nothing. Her entire storyline is that she butts heads with Marisol. If Marisol makes up with her and she's okay with it, or even just starts ignoring Adriana's going to go into a cycle where she's just crazy because she has nothing else to do. And she's just going to latch on to Julia. She'll latch on to Lisa or whoever else that she can get her hands on just to be part of the show moving forward. I don't really see a need for her anymore. This is another one of those shows that I feel like there's too many housewives, too many friends of whatever.
Well, I
Get
think
rid of a couple.
Adriana
You need to start dwindling down.
Aren't Adriana and Marisol actually, and Kiki, like those three are just friends of?
Yeah, they are.
Which is really crazy because Marisol
and they're in every scene.
It's really strange to me. If I was Marisol, I'd like renegotiate a contract there. Which are your two faves that you want to hang out with on a girls' trip?
From Miami?
From Miami?
Miami. I know immediately it's Nicole.
Kiki and Nicole. No, so man, I need three because I want to hang with Kiki, Nicole, and Gertie. Would be my
Gertie.
Three. Yeah, Gertie's
I would say Nicole and Gertie, and then maybe throw in Todd. I want to hang out with Todd for a bit.
Why do you want to hang out with Todd?
How could you want to hang out with Todd?
I just want to pick his brain. I want to see what he's about.
He's such a wiener.
Trips
no
me
way.
out.
I know, but I need to find out how much of a loser he is.
Something is definitely off there. Something is definitely off. I would say Nicole is, to me, the most like grounded, real deal person. And I feel like I connect with her and relate with her.
On any of these shows.
On any of these shows.
Her and Anthony are way too normal to be on any of these shows. They need to run away.
It's
watching
really
them interact
crazy.
with each other. I'm like, oh, they actually like each other. That's weird.
Yeah.
And they're successful and they have jobs and they have a beautiful family. I mean, the only, whatever, we'll have to see what goes down with the dad in the next episode, but, which, he passed away, of course. So the poor thing, but like, I love Gertie, and Kiki is such comic relief. When she said, what is this, the Lenny show? I died. It was so funny. I'm sorry. Would you guys date someone who was obsessively talking about their ex-husband?
No. And there's like a fine line here because we talked about it on OC with Gina. I'm not going to say her last name. And Travis. And when she was getting flack for talking to Travis about some of her ex-husband stuff and her divorce and everything, I don't think that it's inappropriate to confide in your partner about a previous relationship. I think that's open communication. I think that's important for a healthy relationship because if you're going through something, you do need to be able to talk to your significant other about it because you guys need to be on the same page. And if that's really bothering you and affecting your life, your partner should be confident enough in your relationship to be able to discuss it without getting jealous or angry about it. Now, there's a fine line between having the discussion when you're uncomfortable or not feeling great about something and you want to get it off your chest and talking about it 24/7, 365, which is what we're seeing out of Lisa. There is a limit in which now it's entering a point where you're testing his patience and it's not fair to Jody because Jody has to sit there and listen to it all the time. What about what are you going to do when Lenny's no longer in the picture, when you are officially divorced and now you guys have to connect over something else? Now you have to connect over what you two are interested in. And you might have used this Lenny thing as just a common ground where it's like, I'm going through this. You're helping me get through it. All right, now we're through it. What the fuck do we talk about now? Because it's been about Lenny this whole time and how much I've been scorned and how hard my life is. We don't even really know shit about Jody. He's been on the show multiple times. He's never talked about his stuff. We've only heard her talk. Every time he's been on the screen, she's been talking to him about Lenny. And
you guys, it's unmanageable. Like I could not handle it personally. I would totally, I try to think about like when I was a kid and my mom was going through her divorce with my dad and there was like a lot of custody issues and court issues, and she started dating who's now my stepdad and was her boyfriend at the time, and he was so supportive and he would go with her to court and help her prepare and everything. But like, so there is a world where it does work, but you just want to make sure that they have a foundation outside of Lenny, and for some reason I just don't know. I don't know with Lisa. I don't know if Lisa has a lot outside of Lenny.
You get Jody paying 15 grand and splitting an apartment with Lenny for Lisa. Like that, like my whole thing with her, man. And I feel for her as far as like the Lenny stuff, because he's an absolute garbage can of a person.
Horrible.
But the way that she's going about all this stuff, it's hard at a certain point to continue to give her sympathy because her gripes and groans are about exorbitant amounts of money, insane amounts of money. Like you can be comfortable without buying a $7 million condo. Go for a $1 million condo. you're testing my patience now because I'm trying to feel for you through this, but she's not being pragmatic in the slightest about how to move forward with her life. And the girls are trying to help. And that's what's more frustrating. Like, you need to stop talking about Lenny. You need to start being a little more reasonable and living within your means. And she doesn't want to hear it. She can't hear it.
She's so defensive.
You're not going to make it
Yeah.
through tonight's episode, I don't think, because that's what that whole episode is about.
Exactly.
Have you seen it already?
No. Just based off of the clips, it seems like we're deep diving into Lisa's spending habits with her $10,000 Instacart orders and
well,
stuff
let me
like
ask
that.
you, Shooter, this one's for you.
Yeah.
What are you buying to spend $5,000 on Instacart in 1 month? What are you buying? What is your $5,000 bill on Instacart? What the hell is this woman buying? Well, we found out.
Well, I guess she has there's makeup in there, what's the male equivalent for makeup?
Like cologne?
Can I throw? Yeah, cologne would be sick, actually. Yeah, I would spend $5,000. Why not?
On
cologne, maybe some hair care products. Yeah, dude.
Hair care, maybe
smell good, feel good, look good.
You don't do skincare at all?
Of course,
Me?
yeah.
Shooter does. He's got a whole routine. I don't know. I use
Steel uses the 3-for-1, the shampoo, conditioner, body wash on his face.
No, I don't. I'm not. Okay, relax. I do use it's called like Hims shampoo to make sure that I don't lose. I never want to be bald, so I am proactive about hair loss. I don't want to lose my hair.
You got a great head of hair.
Which, I didn't always. After, we can get into that story another time. But let's just say at one point in the past 5 years, I was really patchy after a very difficult life event that I went through. Alcoholism, but similar. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, I'm 5 years sober, and I had cirrhosis when I was 27 years old.
Whoa!
And lost. Yeah, it's a whole thing. There's an episode on our podcast about.
I want to listen to it because I'm sober curious right now. Did I tell you? I haven't mentioned it fully on the podcast, but I'm not drinking right now because I'm so interested in seeing the benefits that come from not drinking. I've heard so many great things.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive things that come from it. But yeah, my life got out of hand and I almost died. And when I was recovering, I was super patchy. And I remember being like, damn, I don't want to be bald. And so my hair started growing back. I was like, I'm going to be proactive and just make sure I never lose my hair. So I do use it's called Hims shampoo, and it promotes hair growth. So I do that. I use a bar of soap because I don't like the weird chemicals in Old Spice anymore. I use the Dr. Squatch. So I have things I do. Okay. But as far as skincare, and it pisses my wife off a lot.
The Shooter's dying right now.
Yeah, I know. But she is very consistent with her skincare routine and is very on top of things. And she gets mad at me because she says, I didn't even realize what good skin was. And she's like, you have great skin. And it really, really annoys me because you don't do anything. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Men.
Growing my skin. Men. They're the worst.
I will say, but I will say Lance, my husband, who you guys met at the show, he's 44 years old. And the other day he came home and he was like, I have bags. I'm getting dark circles under my eyes. What do you do? So I had just gone to the Jeff Lewis Hollywood House Lift premiere. And in the swag bag was Leah Black, eye.
Those things?
Eye patches, the revitalizing eye mask.
Oh, I would wear those.
Oh, he's all about them. He gets his robe on at night after a shower. He puts them on.
Yeah.
He just wants to be fed grapes.
Little self-care night. That. Guarantee you, Shooter's done that by himself. He wears jammies
a couple times a week. A couple times. Steele and I will be playing video games late at night, and he'll just lean over and just say something to me about what I'm wearing, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm wearing a full pajama set. What do you want from me? I took a shower. I did a skincare routine. I feel great."
Like a onesie? Are we wearing a onesie or two?
No. He has a jammy set.
Yeah.
That's so cute. From Target, matching.
Not from Target, but yeah, matching.
Oh, God forbid.
I'm a little bougie, Donna.
Okay, where are you buying your pajamas then?
I believe the sets that I have are all barber sets. They're all very nice and nice and warm. But my problem is that I can't sleep in them because they're too warm and I run hot. So
you sleep naked.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Good visual for everybody.
I mean, I think most people sleep naked. I do. So, okay. So wait, one more thing really fast about the drinking thing that you just mentioned, Steele, because I feel like this is interesting and it has come up, and let's kind of transition a little into Beverly Hills really fast because a new episode tonight. Obviously, Kyle stopped drinking a year ago or a little over a year ago. And the whole thing this season is why? Why is she not drinking? Why? And now I feel just because of my journey and what I'm going through, I've actually looked at Kyle as inspiration a little bit, because if she's able to stop drinking and her life is so surrounded by casual drinking and out and about being on a show and this and that, it's really inspiring to me. It's kind of cool. And she also looks phenomenal. So that's a little bit also. But let me ask you a question. When you're watching these shows and seeing these women get hammered, like on Southern Charm, or like on, I mean, women, Shep, or like Dorinda on Girls Trip type of shows, those kinds of things. What, like, how does it feel coming it from a, like, I was there as an alcoholic, now I'm sober?
So it's interesting because there's certain times, and I don't talk about it on the air because I don't think it's not safe or fair to be questioning how much people rely on alcohol. It's a dangerous accusation. That's why I actually get really pissed off when people imply that Sutton's an alcoholic. I get really pissed off that
Mhm.
people question why Kyle stopped drinking.
Mhm.
Because when I watch these things, and do I see a lot of red flags throughout multiple franchises? Yeah, absolutely. And like a lot of people that are teetering and towing that line of having an issue. Again, I'm not going to name any names because I don't think it's appropriate.
Name
But
them.
name them.
Name them.
But
Name
with
them.
all,
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
not
just
going
going
to
to
do it.
keep going like Sutton does.
It's
Keep
good.
going.
But it's alarming sometimes. I never get uncomfortable. And like I go out with my friends still, and like we'll go to bars and things like that, and I'm comfortable being out. And I think that that's why I've loved Kyle this season, as far as that part, not everything she's doing, but as far as the not drinking thing, because it shows that you can still be a fun person. I feel like that's the biggest stigma that comes along with it, other than, people just assume you're a dirtbag because you had a drinking problem or a drug
Mm.
problem, which is bullshit, but whatever. The other stigma is like, how are you supposed to have fun without alcohol? And that was one of my biggest concerns when I got out of rehab, was like, how am I supposed to do anything social without boozing? And you
Yeah.
find out pretty quick that you can still have fun. You can still be that person. You can still do all of those things if you're comfortable. And if you're not, it's okay. Like your life's change after you get sober. But I think the biggest thing for me watching it is, is it alarming sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. But I think the bigger thing that really gets to me is more so the speculation that comes with it. When
Mhm.
people think that they know better, when people think it's their place to comment on it or break down what's going on with somebody's drinking and why. And what they're actually doing is painting a really dangerous narrative that if somebody, let's say, on one of these shows is teetering on that line where they could be using alcohol as a crutch, it could be leading to a drinking problem and alcoholism and all those things. And now they hear people start discussing it and they hear people start questioning it. What alcoholics will do in those moments, and I know from experience, I'm going to prove you wrong now. I'm going to keep drinking and you're not going to know it because
Oh,
I don't have a problem, and I'm going to show you I don't have a problem. And that's when you start drinking more. You start drinking during the day. It's almost like a fuck you to everybody. I'm going to show you how much I can handle drinking. And that's when you kind of dive down the slippery slope.
wow.
But my biggest thing, then I'll shut up because I know I'm long winded on this one, but I love that Kyle made the decision to stop drinking, and all the people out there that are saying, well, she didn't have a drinking problem. You don't dictate what a problem is. Nobody dictates what other people's problems are or why they should or should not drink. If she felt that it was the best time in her life to take a step back from alcohol and is reaping the benefits from it, then everybody else shut the fuck up. She
Yeah.
doesn't need to be cool and drink to have fun with you. She doesn't need to booze because you feel uncomfortable because now you're questioning your drinking because she's sober in front of you.
Well,
That's what
that's
the
what
root of
it
it all
does.
is.
But by the way, that's what it
Oh,
does.
I
It
know.
makes you look inward. And that's
Mhm.
why it triggers people. Because I've
Absolutely.
seen it now just with a couple of friends of mine. And then every time I was on TikTok and seeing people talk about, like, I'm on a sober journey, I would feel something inside. Like, I want to watch it, but I also don't want to watch it because I don't want to know too much, because I don't
Yeah.
want to. But by the way, if Shooter told me right now, like, I'm going to stop using skincare products, I wouldn't be like, why? Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem
Right.
with skincare? Like,
I
is there
think
a
with
problem?
Kyle too, Kyle specifically, I don't understand the people that question her stopping drinking. I feel like it's very simple. She said it in last week's episode. Sitting there, I cannot afford to be depressed. I get depressed when I drink a couple of glasses of wine or I go a little overboard and I'm very hungover the next day. That makes a lot of sense. Anybody who drinks understands that.
I
You
have
hit a wall.
massive day after
Oh,
anxiety.
it's
Like,
the
it's
worst. Like if
horrible.
if I go out on a Saturday night, Sunday night, there's a lot of anxiety for the week ahead. There's work, there's podcasting, there's whatever else you might have this holiday season. It makes a lot of sense. If Kyle is going through a very, very rough stretch of her life, why wouldn't she remove something that adds more anxiety? Like, yeah, sure, it
Totally.
might help you just move out of the way on a Saturday night, but that next day it's going to be twice as worse. So it makes a lot of sense logically. I feel like people just to hate because they're annoyed that somebody that they watch on TV isn't getting drunk and doing splits anymore. At the end of the day, you need to understand these are real people, and you need to stop rooting for them to self implode just
To
for your own enjoyment.
self-destruct.
It's fucking insane. These people are
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true. There's a fine line between entertainment. Like, I remember and I hate to like, bring up certain people, but like Sonia, we've seen her through the years of New York, and I'm also not up on Girls Trip. I've only watched one episode, but I've watched Sonia so many times. We all have, like, falling off chairs and like doing these really wild behaviors because of alcohol, Luann in the bush, like things like that. It's funny. That's the craziest thing. It's funny to watch, but if you actually pretend that you're like in that room with that person and that's your best friend, you wouldn't think it was so funny. You would be like, shit, what's up? Or if that was your sister or your mother. So it is a trippy thing. And I feel like Bethany would be so happy for this conversation right here. But again, we're not blaming producers on any of this. Remember that. We're not blaming Bravo. I'm not.
No,
I'm
because
blaming, this is a personal decision to or not to imbibe, right?
agreed. And like that's
Mhm.
the big thing that, there is. Can you shame Bravo a little bit for kind of nurturing this atmosphere of drunk is funny? Let's get drunk and be funny. Maybe a little bit, ever so slightly, just because it creates a weird environment. But at the same time, as a reality TV star, one, you know what you're signing up for, and two, as Kyle's making very apparent, if you don't want to drink, they're not shoving drinks down her throat. She's not drinking for the season. You can make the decision not to. Again, that's also assuming you have the power to say, I can stop drinking. I don't need to drink, because that's a much different story. If it becomes that, that's a different issue. Now you have a problem, and that's all right. And I think that it's been an interesting season for me watching Beverly Hills, watching people's reactions to Kyle, because it does trigger something. I don't like that word, but it's something in me gets a little irritated every scene, because I have to sit there and listen to even Garcelle, who's usually very reasonable, question how long this is going to go on. Kyle, how long are you going to do this, Kyle? Like, none of your business. If she does this forever, your job is to support her. You don't know. And by the way, none of us can say how far down that path with alcohol Kyle was. If she thought that she was at a point where it's time to stop, that was her rock bottom moment. Everyone has a
just because
different
we
rock
didn't
bottom.
see like Shannon driving into a car situation with
Right.
Kyle, it doesn't mean that it wasn't a big problem in her life. And by the way, like I mentioned as a joke, your skincare, but there's a lot of people that say, like, I'm going to cut out dessert this month. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't matter if you're eating one piece of chocolate a night or 500 pounds of it. It doesn't matter. It makes you feel bad. So yes, you're right. We have to pull a little bit of the judgmental out about things like that. But Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season, I think, is giving. I think
it's
it's
good.
serving. I
Yeah,
am
it's good.
in.
I am too. And I think it's a great season. I think that, and I'll let Shooter take this in a sec, because he has slightly different opinion. I don't know if he's come around yet, but yeah, I mean, it's been a good season, and it's captivating with the Kyle drinking stuff. It is a captivating storyline, especially juxtaposed to a Sutton drinking storyline. My biggest concern is I don't want them to lean into it and overproduce that stuff, because I take it personally, and I think that it's a dangerous game to play when you're fucking around with alcohol, because it so easily affects people that are going through certain things with alcohol. And it's just, to me, that's touchy ground that I don't want to go down. But overall, I'm enjoying the season.
I get that
Yeah.
completely. What about you, Shooter?
I'm a little concerned for the future of it, just because of where we're going. We're not getting a whole lot of answers out of the Kyle and Mo situation. And I feel like, based on what you two were just talking about, we're honing in on the drinking aspect, when what we should be doing is looking at Kyle's life changes as a whole and saying, why are you changing so much? Don't look at just the drinking aspect. Like, yes, that's a big part, but leave her alone. If she wants to stop drinking, let her fucking drink. Look at all of the other extremes that she's done, and then try to figure out what the hell's going on with her and try to get an answer out of her for the rest of our sake. But my biggest issue is, and as much as I really like Sutton for the show, I feel like she's a great fit for the show, because she's completely different and brings a huge dynamic shift to everything that's going on. She can't carry a show. she cannot be the main person of this show because she does not articulate her thoughts well.
Mhm.
If she could articulate her thoughts as well as Garcelle does, she would be owning this show because she'd
You're
be
so
getting
right.
answers out of everybody. She gets herself into a position where only she will be able to get an answer out of someone, and she just cannot deliver. And I'm really afraid that we don't have somebody like Erica stepping up, because Erica's taking a back seat while she goes on her quest for just having a happy, peaceful life, which I love, by the way. But for the show and moving it forward, Erica does need to step up and try to drive some of these storylines, because Sutton can't do it. Garcelle can't come in to help Sutton all the time. Crystal needs to step up. So I always come back to the same thing with Beverly Hills. I hold that whole show at such a high standard compared to all of the other housewives.
Why?
Just because we know that they have star power, and I know that they can deliver because we've seen it in the past, and there's so many glimpses of hope, and then they just fall flat for whatever reason. That entire last season was awful. It was 28 episodes of pure madness that nobody enjoyed. Nobody
No, it
enjoyed
was
any
awful.
aspect of that. We wanted to forget it as soon as it was over. We wanted to forget
Yeah.
it in the middle of the show. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest. But now at least we're getting a little bit back to the standard, which is awesome. I just want to see a little bit more, and I need some of these other people to step up, mostly somebody like Crystal, who really hasn't done a whole lot in 3 seasons, and now it looks like she might be stepping up a little bit. And we've had discussions with her, and she says, she does a lot. Some things get cut, some things don't, but it looks like this season there might be a little bit more there. So I'm just a little concerned. I don't want to jump in head first and just expect the best and just really say that I'm enjoying it, because there are some things out there that I'm a little haphazard about.
Yeah. I totally get everything you guys are saying. I am personally only and really truly invested in the Kyle storyline this season. I mean, I love Crystal. I've met her. I know her. I just think I'm not interested in the brother and his marriage. I love Sutton, but I guess the Sutton Kyle dynamic is kind of interesting, but like Garcelle and her parenting is not so interesting to me right now. All I care about is seeing the Kyle Mauricio marriage evolve. I mean, it's trippy to watch in person. What about you, Steele? What were you just about to say?
I agree 100% that the Kyle and Mo stuff is extremely captivating, especially because we got the inklings leading up to the season where we're all like, what the hell is going on? So now we're over analyzing every scene. I'm watching body language, how she's shifting her weight. I'm watching everything, which makes for really good
The
TV.
kiss this last episode
The
when he
kiss was
grabbed her.
crazy, and she's like, you can see her kind of cringe and pull back. And to me, I'm like, she doesn't want to be near him. That implies to me that he did do something. What's going on here? But with the Garcelle storyline and the kids, I agree it's not gonna like be able to run the course of the entire season, but you can't tell me that the dichotomy between her sons is not riveting. You got Jackson, Jade, and they could not be further ends of the spectrum. And one is it Jade he's the one that's super intelligent for his age, right? Super emotionally intelligent. There's that Jax.
I can't remember,
I think
you
it's
guys.
Jax.
I can't keep
I'm
them apart.
pretty sure
That's
it's Jax.
Jax. And Jade's the one with the girlfriend. That's correct. Yeah.
Jade's the one with the girlfriend, I'm pretty
Yes,
sure. Yeah.
Jade's the one with the girlfriend, Jax. And Jade dates Ashlyn. But with Jax, like hearing a 15-year-old kid speak with that emotional intelligence, yeah, I want to see that. I was blown away, especially seeing some of the other kids across these shows that are in their teen years, like Jack
Very
fucking
mature.
Barlow, who is like going on a mission to Bogota to get away from his mom. Like that's the level that we're dealing with versus a kid like Jax, who's like, this is what I needed from you, mom. Didn't get it. I don't need it now. Appreciate it. I'm good.
But we
And
talk
like
about that all the time too, where like he actually searched his mom and dad's divorce on Google.
Yeah.
Like we talk about that all the time with these people. Like you have kids that are 4, 5, 6 years old. What's going to happen in 10 years when they look back and they say, wow, my mom was a fucking mess on this show. That marriage sucked. My dad was a piece of shit. Like there's going to be so many things coming out. And Jax is just sitting there like, yeah, I was 8 years old. I looked it up and this is kind of what happened. But go on, Steele. Sorry.
No, you're good. And all I wanted to say to wrap that up is just like, I don't think that it can last more than 2 or 3 episodes as far as like how much I'm going to care about it. But it has been interesting to see the dynamic between her and her kids and just her kids in general. Like you got Jade, he's the quintessential 15-year-old. I love my girlfriend. I love video games and I love my friends. And then you get Jax, who's like a 27, 28-year-old man talking about his emotions and feelings. And I think it's a credit more so to, again, we give credit where credit's due. Garcelle as a mom, well, we're seeing some questions about how much she's been there and her parenting over the past few years, but seeing the self-awareness and the discussions, I always appreciate that stuff. I agree with you. It's going to run its course very quickly, but I haven't gotten tired of it yet.
I think it's risky though. I know that everybody just wants to watch the Kyle and Mo dynamic and they really want to hone in on that. But Bravo, it seems like they've kind of learned their lesson with this. You cannot run an entire season with just one storyline.
Mhm.
How much have we gotten out of the Kyle and Mo situation aside from us overanalyzing body language and looking at the way
Nothing.
that they kiss? Nothing. So if we don't have the story with Crystal and her brother, if we don't have Garcelle with her kids, if they just lean heavily into that and that's the only thing that we care about, it's going to be another terrible season because we're not getting anything out of them. And I hope and pray to God, because we know that they picked up cameras a couple of weeks after, that we're going to get a little bit more. And obviously, we're going to get, I don't think we're going to get closure. I don't want to use that word, but we're going to get some information that
No,
we
and then
want
we're
right
going to
now.
get selling, and then we're going to get Buying Beverly Hills, which is going
Yeah.
to cover this story 100%.
Exactly. But if
So,
they run the entire season with no other storylines, it becomes Potomac. Like,
yeah,
we're not getting anything out of Juan and Robin. And look at that show. That show's a dumpster fire. We don't even want to watch it anymore, but we have to because
I
we
know.
need to get answers out of that situation. That's what Beverly Hills could be if we don't have these other little things going on. If we don't have a Sutton in there driving something clumsily, if we don't have Garcelle with her kids, Crystal with her brother, Erica's change and Erica going on her live show. Like, yes, all of those things aren't that important. They're all very little nuanced cogs in the wheel,
But it
but
completes the
it
circle.
completes the whole circle and it gives us a little bit of time to breathe outside of the Kyle and Mo situation.
I love it. All right, we
That's
could talk
blowing my
forever,
daughter a
but we
kiss.
we
My
have to
daughter's
talk
giving me a
about
kiss.
we have to talk about Salt Lake City, you guys. Salt Lake City was on last night. I am obsessed with this show. I'm obsessed with these women. I have my feelings and thoughts about all of them, but I love them as a whole. And I think it's an amazing season of Salt Lake. What were you guys' thoughts? In last night's episode, we were wrapping up, or we're still in the Bermuda Triangle. We're still in Bermuda. And we wake up kind of coming after the pirate dinner, right? The
Mhm.
pirate dinner, where Heather and Monica kind of went to town and Lisa went after Meredith Marks about these fake DMs. Quick question. Did Meredith write these DMs?
Yes.
I don't know anymore after last night's episode. I've
How did last
got
night's
Wow.
episode change it for you?
because
Steele and I haven't even talked about this. Usually we talk about
No.
these shows, but we watched this today just for you, Donna. And
Aw.
here we are. So this is nice and like
This is
uncut.
fresh. The more I hear, look, we know Meredith's MO, and this could easily be her and have her fingerprints all over it. I'm not saying that that's not the prime suspect number one, but I have another theory like trickling into my brain, and
Mm.
that is that I think that Monica might be behind all of this because of the way that she is withholding certain things. Like Meredith starts to talk and she's saying, well, Monica said this first. Monica doesn't dispute that. So now I'm like, oh, well, that changes things a little bit. And then she keeps going, and we get confirmation that, yeah, the conversation that Meredith claims that they had, where she's like, oh, I think that bar down the street is owned by the Greek mafia. And then Monica's like, oh, you think Angie's involved? I can 100% see that happening. I could definitely see her saying that. And I could definitely see Monica leaning into it because Monica also will say a lot of things in a conversation and then frames it a little bit differently when she's talking to other people, ever so slightly. Certain words change, certain people, like Meredith said this, but she didn't say, but I also said that. She paints Meredith out to be the bad guy, but doesn't say, I was partaking in this conversation fully, saying that I think that she's in the mafia. She was saying, Meredith told me that Angie was in the mafia, period. That's different than what happened. So could I see Monica being behind it? Yeah, I'm starting to. Regardless, it's an incredible, incredible season of TV. It's such a great comeback from last year's disaster. And Angie has been the comeback player of the century. Like I could not stand her last year or the first 4 episodes of this year. She's amazing now. She's done a great job kind of finding her footing.
Totally.
Monica is the newbie of the year. She, whether you love her or hate her, believe her or don't, you cannot deny that she has driven this show to a different level,
No
especially
question.
coming from last year. So it's a great, great season. They've done a great job. I have so many question marks that I think why I'm so excited about this one. And if they pull like a trick here and we find out that the big reveal is that Monica changed her name and filed a lawsuit or whatever, and that's the big reveal, I'm going to be so upset because I have the slightest bit of hope that we're actually going to get to wrap things up neat and tidy this year and figure out exactly what happened. It's not going to happen, but
Nope.
I want it to happen. So
Wait,
What
you
if?
don't think you're hoping that it's not the big reveal is not just that Monica sued?
yeah, I'm
Or
hoping
is
if that's the
against
people have said that that's not the big reveal. It's not that
I
Monica
don't
filed a lawsuit. So I think it's something.
watching
It's supposed to be something else.
watching the scenes from next week though, and this is just going into us overanalyzing pretty much everything. The only two that they didn't show when Heather was going off on them during a dinner or whatever they might be doing were Whitney and Angie. Everybody
Mhm.
else had some sort of way to chime in there. Now, I don't know if that means I can't imagine that Angie's just putting rumors about herself. Although now I could be talked into that pretty quickly. Angie could be sending rumors out there about herself to try to make herself seem a little bit cooler and have something
to
to
keep
talk about on the show.
relevance.
Keep herself relevant during the show. That makes a lot of sense. What about the theory that it's just Jen Shaw from prison doing it?
I love that theory.
I just
just
want to
made it
know
up.
who this person is that sent that DM because all we saw, we didn't see the username, but we saw they have 16 followers.
It's a
So, like, who is
Finsta.
this fake account that has 16 followers? What were they
That's where I
doing?
get, but
It
see,
could
that's
just be
where,
fake accounts
yeah,
following them too.
Fake
It's just,
accounts.
I wouldn't put much into that.
but there's legal documents. That's where I'm confused.
You
So,
can get legal
so,
documents
Allegedly.
anywhere.
so,
Oh, yeah.
okay, we have all agreed that Monica's good TV. We know that, but
Yes.
you don't get the like right now. We know in current times, in Wednesday, December 20th times, Monica is the only one that the cast doesn't speak to. That makes me 100% convinced that the drama is with Monica. I think Monica
You
is
don't
the
think
drama.
it's just because she filed the lawsuit against Heather and she has that whole falling apart with the lip injections?
Nope.
Feel like
That's
it was
why.
before this because when we were at BravoCon in November on November 3rd, that article hadn't been announced yet. And
Right. They still weren't talking to her. What if it was Angie
weren't
Harrington
talking
behind
to
the
her.
scenes, or Angie Harrington's husband? He's back. He's back for some more trolling.
It would be
That would
him,
actually
right?
make the most sense. That would actually make the most sense overall if it was just him behind
No,
the scenes.
but Heather's reaction in that scene is so upset, and she said, "Oh my God, it's been a scheme." And then she said, "She's not really our friend."
Hmm.
She said she's not really our friend. And yes, they showed Monica in that scene. They didn't show Angie and Whitney, true. And I just don't think it's about Angie and Whitney, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not also on their social media. Like, I'm not seeing who's hanging out with who in these days. I don't know who's on each team. But I think personally, I think Monica is the problem. I think that this will be part of the reveal. And then they're gonna all discredit Monica on everything she's ever said in terms of
Yeah,
the
but then
mafia and all of that.
can you even bring Monica back next season if nobody's talking to her?
Hasn't
Like
that happened in so many shows before?
I know,
You
yeah, but
absolutely can. She is Andy's all-star. He loves her. She has
yeah.
given so
I
many
mean,
new
you can
viewers.
bring
There's
her
no way you
back,
don't
but
bring her back.
I'm just wondering what that would look like because they're
Just
not
her
going
and
to
her
want to do
mom, just
scenes
her
with
and
her.
Vovo
Oh
hanging
god.
out in the
I
Volvo
know.
or in the Range Rover.
LD can kick rocks. She's
LD
fucking
Millionaire
brutal.
sucks.
Yeah, she's
So,
terrible. I can't stand her.
so were you guys, number one, let's talk about this catamaran. Okay, so they go on this gorgeous catamaran, and on the boat, Meredith is obviously in her feels because she got yelled at the night before, especially by Lisa. And Lisa does not hold back. Like, Lisa Barlow is, I am obsessed. I don't know why. I can't get enough of Lisa Barlow. I just want to watch her from morning till night. But she does not hold back against Meredith. I'm really surprised how convinced she is. Meredith, you're done. You're done. It's you. I know it. You're done. Aren't you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised by that because we've seen her kind of find her footing this year as far as like standing alone, where we used to see her with Meredith kind of being in her shadow, being her lackey, so to speak, in the first couple of seasons. Like they were good friends, but Lisa tended to not want to rock the boat with her early
Mhm.
on. And then when they had that big falling out, we've gotten a Lisa this year that's been standalone and kind of finding her own voice. And a lot of times it hasn't been a good thing, in my opinion. But with the Meredith stuff, it's not surprising to me because she's in a good way finding her voice. She's able to stand up for herself more so than she has in the past and able to do it without backing down. Where in the past, we've seen her kind of falter in those moments. You go back to the trip they took with the shaman, I guess, and her and Meredith get into it. And then Lisa's trying to just trying to smooth things over and Meredith's not having it. Now you have a Lisa that's like, no, you've done this to me. This is the same MO. I'm not doing this shit again. I'm calling you out. I'm not afraid to call you out. We've gotten a very cocky Lisa Barlow this season, which I wasn't expecting. And it's great TV. I don't think it's the best look. I think I've been very irritated by the money talk and all of that stuff. I think it's over the top and not, I know we watch these shows for the extravagance. money talks, wealth whispers. I want to see it. I don't need you to tell me about all of your $60,000 rings and shit. But no, I'm not surprised at all that she finally let her have it, because I think it's been a long time coming. And I think that this is a culmination of a new Lisa that we're seeing, where she's not afraid to speak up. She's not afraid to tell you how she's feeling and how you're affecting her life, because at the end of the day, it's all about Lisa.
Totally. I'm interested. What about you? Shooter, thoughts?
I'm pretty tired of the whole Lisa thing. Just specifically because she goes off on her. She tells her that she's done, and then she's interested in what's going on in Meredith's family's life immediately afterwards. Like, if I'm any of the other women on that bus, I'm pissed off. It doesn't make any sense. We are through with Meredith. We all just painted her as this villain, Lisa most of all, and now you're sitting in the back of the bus and you're talking openly about families, and that you're saying that this is how sisters fight. That doesn't go along with what you've been saying this whole season. Like Steele just said, we watched the growth of Lisa this season. Lisa has gone through and changed her entire life. She's now become this standalone independent person on the show that doesn't give a shit what anybody else thinks, and she goes after them. However, she is still one of the most self-absorbed people I've ever seen in my entire life. Go to show you, she has 22,000 selfies in her phone. Of course she does. Why wouldn't she? But
how many do you guys have?
I'll
no,
check.
I realize I'm talking to men, which
Well,
is
it's
going to
also-
be challenging.
It's also different because I have a bunch of selfies from like videos that I've taken for the podcast that I've posted. So I don't know.
Well,
if
me too.
I have 259 selfies.
502.
Yeah.
Wait, how are we finding it so fast? Where do you guys find it again?
Go to
Oh, on the
photos and then
bottom.
scroll all the way down.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
hold.
and a vast majority of these are with other people or me filming cooking or for the show. So
Guys, I'm at 3,692.
That's not that much compared to
And
the
I'm
other
not a
people on the show.
housewife. Oh, but this is the first one that just popped up in front of me and Karen.
hey,
Good time,
that's a good
baby.
one.
Is that pre or post P?
This is empty bladders.
Okay.
This was an empty bladder moment.
Wait, did you take a picture with her in the bathroom?
Literally, it was at the Four Seasons, and we walk in, and it's like a beautiful, huge bathroom, and then there's stalls, So we were in like the washing our hands area.
You took a picture in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Did you wash your hands before you took the picture?
No, would
I
never
hate
wash
when
my
people
hands.
talk to me in the bathroom. I can't imagine that.
She was very into it. She told me all about her daughter. She told me all about this. Like, she was chatting away. Mark wants to say in the new year, he wants to see Donna, Zach, and the Brav Bros participating in a healing sound bath with a shaman.
I'm
Shut
in.
up,
You got to
Mark.
convince my guy Shooter over there. He is anti-shaman, anti-sound bath, anti.
Mark knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I'm not letting him get to me.
I would like to. I've done sound baths. I'm not sure about the shaman part, but I've done the sound bath and I love it. It's a great opportunity to just nap.
That, which is totally. And Shooter said, "What, do you just sleep?" I'm like, "Sometimes you do, and that's okay. It's just an experience in which you can kind of recenter yourself. It's not life altering, but it helps you relieve stress, anxiety. You keep being over there stressed and anxious and shit when you could be self healing.
Me?
I don't have sympathy for you.
Who said I'm stressed? Who's
I look
stressed
at you.
and anxious?
You look stressed as hell.
The only time I get stressed and anxious is if I'm hungover, and the last thing I want to do is go to a sound bath hungover.
How do you know? You haven't been to one.
It actually cures hangovers, I heard.
How about that?
In addition,
maybe I'll give it a try.
So wait, okay, let me ask you a question. You know how they say like the higher the hair, the closer to God. Have you ever heard that like saying, right? The Texas hair?
I'm from Texas, yeah.
Okay. I think on Salt Lake City, it's the bigger the glasses.
Oh my God.
Closer.
Those glasses.
Oh my God. Those glasses are insane.
They're ridiculous. They look like ski goggles.
Angie K's glasses are on another. I mean, I wish I could even find something. I'm a big prop girl, but I don't even think I have anything. I mean, I could pick up my entire desk and put it in front of me.
That's good, Steele. Yeah. What is that?
That's a
what
can
are
of
those?
dip. And my head.
And they're red. Like they're all. She sees everything through red colored glasses.
Shooter, where's yours?
I don't have anything near me. I'm looking.
Of course you don't, because you haven't sound bathed. And once you sound bath, you'll always have your props near you.
Yeah, bitch.
So, I agree with you guys about Angie. Let's talk just for a couple seconds about Miss Whitney, because on this catamaran, I believe that she had imbibed on a couple cocktails when she's driving home in the Sprinter van talking, and she's talking about her husband going down on her and his nose. Let's mention this really fast. There is one recurring theme on Bravo in the last couple weeks, and that's sex. That's all these women are talking about.
It's not the last couple of weeks. It's pretty much every show does it a couple times a year.
Well, then my rose-colored glasses have been taken off. That's all I see. I don't want to hear about Justin's nose going down on you.
No, God, no. Ugh.
Absolutely not. That's the last thing I want to think about. And by the way that they're like the sex talk they had about when's the last time you had sex in that group, I didn't believe any of them. Justin and Whitney are going through a ton of shit right now. I don't believe they hooked up before that they
But
left.
are they really, or are they just trying to come up with story?
No, I think
they're fine.
I think
they really are.
completely
Justin
disconnected.
is a dud. He's an absolute dud. Whitney, I don't know. I mean, I feel for it, I guess. I feel for what they're going through for sure. But like, yeah, I believe that that's real. I don't see, like when they're sitting in the car, like an awkward silence, like I felt awkward at home. It didn't feel like that
You're
was
right.
fabricated. I felt like, wow, these two don't know what to say to each other. And you're gonna sit there and tell me that he nose flicked you the night before you left for the trip? I don't believe it.
No, don't say nose flicked like that.
Is that what she meant? The nose
Dude.
was in on it?
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
The nose was
Stop
being
painting
used?
more of a picture.
Yeah.
We already have the image in our head. I do not need you
I
to get more
didn't
descriptive.
realize that. I thought it was he had a flat nose, so it didn't get in the way.
No. You use the nose. He uses the nose.
Oh,
Giving a lesson
God.
here.
Guys,
we went off the
in
rails.
today's
See, now you
episode,
brought
we
us to
talk
sex.
about we're like, why do Bravo shows all talk about sex? And then we spend our episode talking about cunnilingus.
Your fault.
Yeah,
not
that
ours.
is your fault. Yeah, we're not going to play a stupid game where we say who we throw off the bus. It's
See,
Steele.
don't play games. Whitney
I
Rose,
would
don't play
definitely
games.
throw Steele off the bus.
Yeah,
I
Steele
get it.
goes off the bus.
Yeah, that's fine.
Shooter,
okay.
I want you and your pajamas and your skincare tools to just join us.
Steele,
So
get a skincare routine. You can join us on the bus.
So
No, I'll
don't
stay
you
off the
guys
bus.
don't you guys feel that Whitney was definitely a little bit under the influence? No offense, like not judging her on that, but just saying that's why she was acting a little bit funky. She got into the makeup chair. I was shocked by her like wanting to be on camera with no makeup. I've never seen that side of Whitney. She looked like she was just like trying to stay awake during that conversation with Monica. And then they went to dinner, which then turned into her losing her shit on Heather at the bar about the book. Have you read Heather Gay's book?
No, I really want to, though, actually.
I do too. I heard that scene that she talks about Whitney is not like that wild.
I don't know
No.
though, because Whitney talked about the book all day. So I feel like it could have just gotten to the point where she just decided to bring it up. And yeah, maybe alcohol was involved because we did see her in a bit of a rare state during that makeup scene, during the bus ride on the way home, all of those things involved. But she had been talking about it all day. So I'm not surprised that it did come up finally. And look, it's Whitney. What do we want? She doesn't use any sort of logic when she brings things up that she's pissed off about. She never goes about it the right way. She always just blurts something out and then runs with it. And we gave her a little bit of, an approval earlier in the season because she was doing a little bit better with those things. But right now, I mean, she is drunk and she's just going to blurt it out. It is what it is with Whitney. You can't really expect too much from her.
What I get from Whitney, and like, I think that she's gone on this like self-healing journey, this self-identifying journey where she wants to be a different person and be able to stand on her own 2 feet and stand up for herself and all these things. I appreciate that. I understand what she's trying to do is not being pushed around anymore, not letting people talk down to her, but she takes it too far because now she's looking for reasons to kind of clap back, whereas the book might not have been an issue. But now she's over analyzing and she's had a few drinks and she's like, actually, you know what? That does piss me off because now she's afraid to talk about sex. And I remember she talked about me in her book. I didn't have an issue with it before, but now I'm going to take an issue with it because this is a chance for me to stand up for myself and not let anybody push me around. And I think if you frame it like that for everything that she gets pissed off about, it just kind of comes out of left field. I don't think that she's actively like, ooh, this is a good moment for me to push a storyline. I think she's like, ooh, here's a moment where I can stand up for myself, even if no one's coming at her, because she wants people to know I'm not taking shit anymore. It's like, oh, we got it.
She really has a struggle with Heather. Like you can tell it's been going on now for a couple seasons. She is just not fully forgiven Heather for everything that's happened. Heather doesn't really like Whitney. You can feel it. You just know. And so I think when you get when you get her to drink a little bit and she's like, all bets are off. She just wants to let it out. And she used the book in that moment because it was brought up. Heather got very sensitive about it, very defensive. I think it's because her book is her baby, and she was kind of taking her down for it. But listen, Whitney was just 5 minutes before swinging on a pole in the boat. Like, it's kind of hard to look at someone like Whitney, who's talking about her husband's nose going down on her, to be like, you're exploiting me.
And also the description of what was said in the book isn't that bad. It sounds like you asked Heather to take pictures of you for your husband's anniversary gift. How many wives out there take those types of pictures, or that's sort of like photo shoot for a husband's anniversary? Like, that's
It's
just
a
what
very
happened. It's not that
common
bad.
thing.
It doesn't sound like she went in depth and was like ridiculing what Whitney was wearing. And let's be honest, Whitney put the whole fucking paint on each other's bodies thing out for the entire world to see.
We've seen it all.
You're going to be upset because Heather talked about taking a photo shoot for you during, like, in 2017. Who cares? You're upset because Heather now all of a sudden can't talk about sex. I don't know what that's all about. It's not like you're doing it to get into Monica's good graces. Monica doesn't care what you do. So I don't really understand the angle that she's going at. I feel like she's just got these upset urges towards Heather because I guess things just haven't been fixed between the two of them. And now any opportunity that she gets to go after Heather, she's going to. And I feel like that's what Steele just talked about. She wants to stand up for herself, and she wants us to understand that Whitney's going to stand up for herself if she's wronged. And it's not really hitting because it doesn't make any sense to us.
It's all part of her healing journey.
Healing.
That's how I fell.
You guys, I love chatting with you. You're so smart. Like, shockingly, you're very smart.
Shockingly. Well, we are idiots, though. So, no.
You guys are douchebags, rude, and smart.
Yeah, we'll take
multifaceted.
One for
I mean, really, honestly. So, Brav Bros, how often are you guys releasing episodes?
Oh, boy. So we just changed our format up a little bit where we are dropping 3 episodes on Tuesday and 3 episodes on Friday. Each episode is an individual. So the way that we used to do it was Tuesday, we drop 1 episode that contained 2 shows.
Got it.
So now we're doing the same thing. We just split them up into 2 different episodes. So each episode is congruent with the individual show we're covering.
Kind of like a Watch What Crappin' style, how they only cover one show per app. Yeah.
Right.
I love
and then
that.
Friday, we do normally record on Thursdays and do 3 shows. And now we're just breaking it up into 3 separate parts to make it a little bit easier. It helps me out editing, and it also helps out the audience because not everybody watches everything. But as I say frequently, even if you don't watch the show, give us a listen. It helps us out.
You guys always give us a listen.
A listen,
just press
a 5-star
play
review.
And then stop it.
Yeah, 5-star review. And the biggest thing, I can't stress this enough, because when we go on other YouTube interviews, I notice that most people that we go on have more YouTube followers than we do. And then I'm always excited. I'm like, after the fact, oh, we might have gotten some more followers. So remember, if you're watching this, go over to our podcast channel and click that subscribe button, because you don't know how much it helps us as content creators just to click that follow button. That subscribe button really gives us a boost. If you want to leave a 5-star review for us or for Donna, that also helps us out. So just throw us a bone. You know, we're douchebags. We need help. Help us out.
You're big douchebags. And Shooter needs money for his skincare.
Exactly.
And Steele needs sound bath funds.
Yeah.
So, okay, you guys are Brav Bros on YouTube. Is it Brav underscore or just Brav, or what
on
is it?
YouTube? It's at Brav Bros Podcast, and on all socials, it's at Brav_Bros. Or you can just Google Bravo Bros, because that's like our alter ego.
That's
now.
what everybody calls us. Yeah.
Everyone calls us the Bravo Bros, which is fine. We don't get upset about it. But either or, you'll find us.
Okay, so before I let you go, you guys, make sure you follow them, make sure you subscribe, and all of those things are true. Like, if you guys can't, pay a creator or like subscribe to their Patreon, the best thing you can do is just check mark, subscribe, and give them a review. It's free to do. We need 5 minutes on Craig. We need to talk about Craig Conover for 5. When I saw you guys at Zach's event, you guys said that he was coming on your show. Now, I listened to the show. It was phenomenal. I need to talk to you about, was he as sexy, as beautiful, as lovely, as wonderful in your, Zoom call?
He was. He was everything and more. I mean, he was so down to earth. He actually took time. He was at, was he up at Paige's parents for Thanksgiving?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was. They went to,
He sat with us on that Friday, on Black Friday morning, in a back room with just his laptop and some AirPods, and just talked to us for like an hour and a half. He's so down to earth. He's such a cool dude. He was everything that we thought he was going to be. There was no weird like nuances. He didn't have any issues with us for things that we have said in the past. He understood. He even told us that, everybody on the shows, everybody across Bravo, we listen to the content creators. We know what you guys are saying about us. Things get sent to us all the time.
I know.
I don't really care. He's like, you guys do what you're going to do. He was very happy with us. He was very proud of us. Even he was like kind of like a proud father moment. Honestly, it was really nice. We
I
got a
actually
lot
texted
out of
last
him.
night.
Yeah, and we had such a fun time with him. He's such a good dude.
All
Yeah,
right.
he was,
Well,
he was a good guy, and he was super sexy. Just so
Very
you know.
sexy. There you go. Yeah,
super
very
super
sexy.
sexy. Yeah.
you heard it here first, dosers. Guys, I would like to ask for a Christmas gift. I'm Jewish, so a
Okay.
Hanukkah, a belated Hanukkah.
Okay.
I would like
we
to
can do
ask
that.
for a gift. I would like for you to just, put it out there in the universe that Craig should do Daily Dose of Donna. I'm just putting it out there. I would
I will
like
happily
Craig.
put it out there. Put it out there, Craig. Come do Daily Dose of Donna. You'll love her. If you like us, you'll love her. She's even better because she's not a douchebag like we are.
This is
maybe
the
that's why
clip
he
that's
likes us,
going
though.
on TikTok.
Yeah, put this one on TikTok.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Steel Shooter. Happy holidays.
Oh,
Merry
wait.
Christmas. Oh, yeah.
I'm so bad at plugs.
Plug
We had
away.
a live show January 25th in New York City, the Green Room 42 in Times Square.
No
The
way.
link
Is
is
this
in
your
our-
first live show?
We've done a few live shows, but this is our first standalone. We're the headliners of this one. So please, if you want to come hang out with the bros, we're doing a live show January 25th. It's a Thursday night, the Green Room 42. It's in Times Square, New York City. Link is in our Instagram bio to purchase tickets. Come hang out with us. We're doing exactly what you guys listen to each week. If you listen to our show, we're going to do a live podcast taping. There'll be a guest. We'll interact with you guys. It's going to be a blast. Tickets are selling fast, so go get your tickets. Click the Instagram link in our bio. January 25th. See you there.
Great job.
So good and really great job, Shooter. You should consider paying him.
Steel?
Yeah, he just promoted the shite out of you.
He pays me in mustache rides.
Say that out there.
Oh my God, he pays you in nose flicks. Okay, you guys,
Yeah.
yes, make sure that you go to their live show if you're in the New York area and definitely follow. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I can't wait to do this again in the new year.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye,
you.
Doser. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye.